What's going on? So I just got through seeing old Terry Tap Dancing Cruise with Don Lemon on CNN talking about, well, I'm going to say what I say and I'm willing to fall off the hill. You know, he's a good example of why. I'm going to tell you like this. So people will come out and say, you got to respect other black people's perspective because not all black people think the same. And I can understand that. You can be black and conservative, you can be black with this, but at least be dignified. The problem that I have when black folk who use the all lives white mantra or be conservative is that they go out of their way to downplay the black struggle, and they go out of their way to justify the inherited racism, the white institutionalized privilege. Now, if he came out and said with some black people and white people, if he said there was some white folks that was good, and I said, yeah, that's true. And some black folks have done some things and not always been right with certain things, that's true. But you still can't use this we are the world kumbaya aesthetic when white supremacy and privilege has had a big impact on black oppression. You can't justify that because when we talk economically, spiritually, psychologically, the ramifications are just there. Slavery is real. We have never owned and enslaved white people in this country. So you cannot possibly use this modern lies. And he was talking about the Black Lives Matter is going to mean Black Lives are better. And I already addressed that. I said, well, we have been better because, let's be realistic, white people never were enslaved here and they never have had to fight the way we've had to fight. So we had to be better just to get halfway equal footing, which we still haven't fully gotten. And that's not a arrogant, biased remark. That's a fact. Because black people had to work twice as hard just to get half the foot in the door. So Terry Crews be up there. They get him to do the We Are the World routine, and he does a bad job of it because he's trying to speak to balance out in an equal mindset. You're never going to be equal when you've had a plantation against you, a jurisdiction against you, a supremacist against you, and privilege against you. And we have not experienced true freedom. This has been like a revelation with George Floyd in the last month, which over 400 years, I'm sorry, for all the Obama and all the Michael Jackson and the Oprahs and the Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, Sidney Poitiers and Bill Cosby's and the O.J. Simpson crossover, and I can go on and name names. But ask yourself, when have we been on equal footing? We still have to deal with black first. We have not experienced that kind of reality. So when he sits up there and uses this flip psychology about racial and this and that, this turkey sound real ignorant and like he's stepping and he fetching like he usually do because he's a tap dancer. He cannot put in perspective properly because he's trying to use a modernization. And as I said this before, we've only been free as black folks in this country since 1965 with civil rights, etc. We're talking over 50 years. So when white Americans had 350 plus years to lynch, murder, establish these statutes, establish the rights, etc., how can you possibly sit there and say, well, we're going to do this together when it hasn't been together? That's what there's a lot of Terry Crewses out here who would rather act like everything is hunky-dory now and not acknowledge the pain and suffering that our ancestors went through. So that's my thoughts and takes about Terry Crews up there singing We Are the World with Don Lemon. And Don wasn't even feeling him. Don was looking at him sideways and cross-eyed because he's like, you're not quite getting the grasp of it. But they have a hired gun in Hollywood. Tapping, buck, and shuck on the plantation. That's what they want. All right, that's my thoughts and takes about Terry Crews up there tap dancing on CNN with Don Lemon. Give me your thoughts and your takes. Hit the like and subscribe and the bell rings the video. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for one another. And remember, there's a whole lot of history and not in spurts. Remember that.